Let's go. Did you know? Okay, for the people that are in here on a glorious Saturday night, I want to officially proclaim our dear beloved LSU Tigers as a basketball school. Boot up! This will still be an LSU football channel, but for real, are you kidding me? That's pretty impressive. So we'll get to LSU basketball in just a second. Obviously, a really good week on the hardwood, but obviously, the big story today is Cade York has entered the NFL draft. Okay, so that is obviously a sucky story. Cade York is the best kicker in college football. And normally kickers don't enter the NFL draft early. But if you're Cade York and you have plus 55-yard line range, you're going to get looked at by a lot of NFL teams. Dedicating tonight's live stream to Mick. We hope you feel better, man. Yes, for real. It is a very real thing. Yeah, also dedicating this live stream tonight to Xavier Pinson. Obviously, that did not look good. I have family members who are in sports medicine. And the thing is, you don't have to be in sports medicine to know those types of injuries are never good. So KJ's on a 24-hour shift, keeping everybody safe right now. So KJ, obviously, protect yourself, and we wish you the best. Dwayne's on those Taco Bell wings. Yeah, that's one way to get the antibodies. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, good luck with that. We should be saying a prayer for you. But yes, obviously LSU basketball is a big story this week, but we're LSU football here on PHL. And look, this is something I've said the entire time the Ed Orgeron tenure has gone up in flames. You should not feel sorry for Ed Orgeron, right? You just shouldn't. He's getting $17 million just to leave the program. And you saw what the program looked like versus Kansas State. And that was just with a few opt-outs. But here's something else that I want to mention about why Brian Kelly is so important and why your head coach is so freaking important. And Roby! Good show. Need that Jamar Chase rookie card. So here's what we'll do, Roby. I think you're already a member of the Booger Band Club, but Roby, if you give another $20 super chat, actually, let me do some math here. $25 super chat, that will cover. I'll send you a Jamar Chase rookie card. In fact, I got some nice ones. Let me know. And Roby, I'll send you some Booger Bands if you don't have some already. So yeah, you know, what's interesting about Jamar Chase's cards is that they are ridiculously expensive. And they're not going down anytime soon. God forbid he has another big game tomorrow. And obviously, I want him to have a big game tomorrow because I freaking love Jamar Chase. But at the same time, I also do want to buy some of his rookie cards, and they're just going to be too expensive. Justin Jefferson's rookie cards are too expensive, and Joe Burrow especially are to the moon right now. But look, this is the truth, right? So this is who I feel sorry for, right? So if you're Cade York, even though you are the special teams guy and kicking, you know, your coach doesn't affect your kicking, right? So Greg McMahon did not coach Cade York as far as his individual kicking is concerned. So a new coach doesn't change your job really at all, but it does make it easier even for kickers to decide if they're going to go to the NFL. But the people that you should feel really sorry for when it comes to this transition is people like Olivia Olshan, let me see who else was let go today. In fact, somebody very important was let go today from LSU football. And I want to, her name is Kiva. Her last name isn't here, but I want to show you what Kiva did for this program. Okay. And I understand that it's not a big deal to a lot of you, but these behind the scenes staffers, I think about all the time because they don't make a lot of money. Right. But the lady who secured the much talked about crawfish for the Joe Burrow dinner during Joe's recruiting visit is no longer with LSU. And this is her Twitter handle, KS_ESQ, right? So all these people that do these menial, smaller tasks to get your program to a championship level, they get fired. They get let go. And it's really hard to get your foot in the door in the coaching industry or just in the sports industry. So understand that while you are excited about Brian Kelly, I'm very excited about Brian Kelly. Understand that a lot of people like Kiva, imagine if Kiva wasn't available to, and I don't know her last name. I just learned about her today on Twitter. But imagine if she wasn't available to go get the crawfish for Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow has said in an interview that the crawfish is what helped seal the deal. How do I change my avatar on YouTube? I think you go, I honestly don't know, to be honest. And I hate that because I call you guys out all the time for not changing your avatar. Change your freaking avatars, even though I don't know how to change it. I think you go to Google settings and you change your photo by doing that. So going ahead. I feel for these people, but not weeping for their job losses. We need to change all this, and that requires people you like losing their jobs. And honestly, I do agree with this as well, DRC, because, different coaches have different frameworks for what they want a program to look like. And a lot of these people are people that do the day-to-day stuff. They have a lot of interactions with the head coach. So I'm just saying the people you really should feel sorry for, at least these assistant coaches that are getting let go, were getting six-figure salaries. I don't know how much money those two people I highlighted, Olivia and Kiva, were making. I'm sure it was a fine salary, but it's not anywhere close to what those people make. And that's the thing. Brian Kelly, he's got an interesting decision. A lot of his key recruiting staffers, including those two ladies, Austin Thomas, all those people are fired. So who is he going to hire in their place? I think Frank Wilson is going to handle a lot of that. Good to see you tonight, DRC. Good to see you tonight. The Kevin Porter avatar. How many more transfers are we going to get? Expect a lot. Hopefully the Gregory Brooks thing happened. BGS, my last video had to do with the transfer portal. So if you want to see specific details and specific names of transfer portal players that I'm very interested in, you could check that out, because that kind of leads into our next topic tonight. Osiris Torrence, who to me is my number one prospect right now in the transfer portal for LSU. He played at UL. He was an All-American right guard. Auburn is currently in the lead. Florida is where his coach went to, so expect them to be in the race. I've also heard from sources close to Osiris that Ole Miss has a really good shot at landing him. I hope Brian Kelly gets him because we desperately need a new guard, right? Ed Ingram's got huge shoes to fill. I can say this with near confidence that Ed Ingram basically won us a Texas A&M game. He was that good in some big spots for us in that game. And that was with a left tackle who was struggling. That was with a center who was also struggling. Ed Ingram really moved some bodies. I could really use a dominant right guard or left guard. And Osiris Torrence, of course, can play both of them. So we'll see. Do you think if LSU goes get a QB in the transfer portal with all that's happening in the QB room, we will lose one? Well, obviously, Miles Brennan could still go in the transfer portal if he wanted to. So that's the danger of going after another transfer portal quarterback. Let's just say Caleb Williams does happen. In a magical world, Caleb Williams ends up being an LSU Tiger. Well, guess what happens? A lot of quarterbacks are going to be packing their bags. I think Nuss immediately enters the transfer portal. Walker Howard probably stays, and Miles Brennan also enters the transfer portal because the writing is on the wall if that happens. So, yeah. Is that why Cade York didn't play in the bowl game? Very interesting. No, it was probably an injury. There's no risk of getting injured as a kicker and skipper. It goes a little deeper than that with Cade York because Cade York doesn't have to tackle because he's not on kickoff team. And Avery Atkins, of course, made a lot of tackles for us on kickoff team this year. So, yeah, I don't think Cade York sat out to save his body for the NFL draft. In fact, I would guess the opposite, right? Because he didn't have as strong a close to the season as he did to the start of the season. So it's very interesting. Tevin, good to hear from you again, the Odell Beckham. Yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time on ETN. I don't think he was ever coming to LSU. Citizen is the diamond. Etienne was a cubic zirconia. All right, Carvis, always supporting the channel, man. I appreciate you. Carvis is probably one of our top 5 viewers I really want to meet. Is there a reason why Coach O didn't offer Devin Bush and Greg Brooks in 2019? We really picked Ward and Flott over 2 in-state guys, shaking my head. Yeah, so first thing, I don't think Devin Bush has really played a whole lot at Arkansas. Greg Brooks has, and Greg Brooks is really good. Now, how much better is Greg Brooks than Jay Ward and Cordell Flott? I would say last year Flott was better than Greg Brooks, but it is a deeper point that, why would you go get 2 out-of-state 3-star defensive backs over a 3-star defensive back who was similarly, I've never been able to pronounce that word, that had similar ratings? Maybe that's scouting. I don't know the be-all, end-all to that. But yeah, Carvis, I think this is a more important point, okay? Brooks and Bush, actually, they were both 4 stars. I stand corrected. Bush was slightly rated ahead of Brooks, if I'm not mistaken. I think Bush was like the 13th or 14th rated recruit, and Brooks was like 16th, 17th, 18th. So yeah, it's a good question, right? I'm a believer, Carvis, especially if the transfer portal rule stays the same from this point forward, where you could sign up to 7 extra transfers on top of your 25 signatures. I'm a believer that you should just offer every 4-star Louisiana kid according to the 247 composite. Makes it a little easier on your recruiting staff, and at the same time, Louisiana guys, yes, they do bust. There's a lot of Louisiana guys that don't pan out. But I prefer to get 4-star defensive backs in the state of Louisiana. I also, and you guys hate me for saying this all the freaking time, I think moving forward, there's going to be an even bigger premium on defensive backs. I from this point forward would not take less than 4 defensive backs in every class. I think 4 should be your bare minimum, just because of attrition, injuries. The injuries have been so crazy in our secondary over these past couple of seasons. You just got to have a deep secondary. You just do, and those guys can also play special teams. So and Carvis, we've seen this, right? So even Joe Fouché, right? Israel Mukamu, all these good 3-stars that go be good defensive backs for other schools. You really got to look into it. So Carvis, you make a really good point about looking in state, because Greg Brooks is a really good football player. Chillmonger, once again, I always shout out the Q Dogs. We don't win 10 games of what we have in our quarterback room. Miles is one fishing trip from another season-ending injury. So let's put Chillmonger's question as the poll question. Oh, yeah, Amick Robertson. Yes. Oh, my God. He was so good. Yeah, and it's just tough, right? You're not going to land everybody. It's not my point. My point is, would you have rathered Major Burns or Eric Taylor in the class of 2020? I'd rather miss on a DB than any other position on the defense. What's good, Esteban? Let me change the poll question for Killmonger. All right. Four DBs, 4 OL, 4 DL pass rushers each cycle. I like that. Let's see. I agree with this too, DRC. The schedule might play into LSU's favor. And ironically, LSU's schedule this year was very favorable. That's the scary thing about the Ed Orgeron situation. I really do believe this. And I prefer Brian Kelly over Ed Orgeron at this point. I think a lot of you do. So, it might be a good thing that this Ed Orgeron thing happened. As many of you know, I loved Ed Orgeron. What happened to him is really sad. But at the same time, once again, he gets this nice buyout. The scary thing about this year's schedule, okay, so answer the poll question. We're going to get back into Chillmonger's Miles Brennan's question in just a second. Let me look at the poll results really quickly. A lot of you have faith in Miles Brennan. So Chillmonger, I want you to respond to this. Let's go to another super chatter here, Carvis. Here's the scary thing about it. Okay, let's go through the schedule this past year. All right. UCLA turned out to not be that good at all. Auburn turned out to not be that good at all. Okay. We lost to both of those schools. Kentucky, really great season. They were very lucky to win their bowl game. We shouldn't have got blown out by them. Okay. And we could go on and on with this. I don't mean the past is a past. I don't mean a woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda, whatever. But last year, the schedule shaped up to be pretty nice. I think in 2020, it was a little bit rougher, obviously, with the schedule and the roster attrition. But if Ed Orgeron just doesn't play man coverage on every snap, I still can't believe it. I still want to know what went into team meetings every week for the defense. It kind of ties into what we were saying about Derek Stingley in our last live stream. Guys, it'll never, out of all my years doing and covering LSU football and being a fan of the team, that's the biggest question mark I will always have. More than what would have happened if Ryan Perrilloux stayed healthy, more than anything else. How can a coaching staff think that was going to work? And if Ed Orgeron just won 8 games, we should have easily won 8 with the roster that we had, even with Max Johnson as a quarterback. He would still be the coach. He would still be your coach right now. But no, we decided to just light the entire thing on fire. And that's why, for those that are just joining us, that's why I started the live stream talking about Kiva, the lawyer and the recruiting staffer, Olivia Olshan, and all these behind-the-scenes people. They lose their jobs when the head coach doesn't win games. That's the scary thing about this whole thing, and you feel bad for those people. But, it's just it's crazy. What happened to the Mike Dimbrock deep dive? Could you add Joe Sloan as well? Axel, I'm currently working on that. So once again, programming note, I will be traveling this next weekend. So the live stream schedule is going to be a little different. Just be on the lookout for that. But still, the Mike Dimbrock deep dive is actually happening. In fact, at the end of the last live stream, we kind of showed you a bit of film study on the Mike Dimbrock offense. What's up, Caucus? Good to see you. I've been waiting, man. You've had perfect attendance these last couple of live streams. My favorite thing about Caucus is he's rocking not only his PHL bands, but he's also rocking the cards. I can't wait to meet Caucus. And I don't know the latest on Deion Smith. One of my favorites, Jason, is here. What's up, man? Alex Bregman rookie card in the mail. Ed Orgeron tried proving people wrong and actually tried to be a coach instead of a manager. Exactly. And that's essentially what happened, right? You can't tell the greatest defensive coach in the game today that the defense, before ever playing a snap, is going to be way better than what it was the year before. You don't insult Dave Aranda like that, who to me was the coach of the year this year. Let's go. So let's check in on Chillmonger's poll question here. Chillmonger, people are disagreeing with you here. Do you trust Miles Brennan to stay healthy and lead LSU to an 8+ win season? Chillmonger, I meant to include your name in this poll question, so I apologize. Let's go. Hope Cade goes high in the draft. He deserves to, but them days of a kicker in the first, second round. I don't know. I think the last kicker taken in the second round was by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think that was, what was it, Roberto Aguayo of Florida State? Mick, we hope you're feeling better. Once again, we're dedicating tonight's live stream. I'm not going to lie. I'm very cognizant of where I go. So that's why I'm not super excited about traveling this weekend. So, yeah. Cade is much better than Roberto. True. But I thought Aguayo was like by far the best kicker in college football when he came out, right? Wasn't Sebastian Janikowski a first-round pick? I don't know. Florida State kickers. DC. You guys have to admit DC's Avi is probably top 5. It's kind of hard to beat DC's Avi. DC, the only thing that would make the Avi better would be as if you're holding a wrist full of booger bands. like caucus, but you're not. I'm just wondering when DC Vlogs will join the Booker Band Club, baby. Ray, there you go. So you finally figured it out. Ray, this is a really good Abby. You got some earphones in, LSU. I love it, man. Standing in front of a nicely painted establishment here. Love the paint job. I don't agree with the turquoise shutters, but we'll roll with it, right? But Ray, we got a nice beard game going. I love it. All right, everyone. John Rice Plumley. Type Y for yes. Type N for no. Should LSU pursue the most Ole Miss name of all time? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. Max, our top super chatter of the night. Max, always supporting me, man. The president of the New York chapter of PHL. I love it. Dang. Nose all around. Nathan, you went to the bowl game, man. You never sent me the report. Nathan, I told you to send me a detailed report of your bowl game experience. Okay? But Nathan said, no, I'm just going to be sitting here with my beautiful family and my dogs here, and I'm just going to watch PHL and only type out a response when Carter does the one-letter thing. Nathan, unacceptable. Unacceptable. Max says 7-5, 8-4. Let's be realistic. Ton of young guys coming in. New guys. Nathan had club seats. And you're supposed to send me photos. I always say this, guys. When you go to the bowl games, send me photos. Send me photos. I want to see you guys. You guys act like I don't care about you. You guys act like I just do this to talk about LSU football. And I'm very thankful for this job, but I'm invested. I'm invested into you. How many people are mad at Nathan right now? Just everyone right now. How many people are mad at Nathan? Mo Funky, I see in here as well. I'm mad at you, Nathan. I don't even know if I want to do a live stream. Nathan's like, oh, I had club seats, but I'm not even going to share my experience with all my fellow LSU fans and my favorite LSU YouTuber. All he asks is just to share the LSU football experience. It's tons of young guys coming in, new staff. Got to let BK get his feet wet. 8-4, 9-3 would be a huge W next season. It's a building block for a year to. Nathan is a hero. He suffered through that game. See, Nathan, look, Doc has got your back. Doc has got your back. I'm not going to lie, man. Phi Beta Sigmas. They're good people. Shout out to my buddy Marcus. He graduated with me from LSU. He was a Phi Beta Sigma, and he's one of my most trustworthy friends to this day. So yeah. Yeah, Jason, I know I could trust you. I could trust Jason with correspondence. And Jason just sent me an email of where he was sitting. There you go, Nathan. Babe, I just bullied Nathan into a $20 super chat. That more than makes up for it. Now I'm going to one by one bully each and every one of you. Oh, man. I just got the feels, man. I'm getting to meet Max and Nola. Okay? So let me do this. All right. We'll get back into LSU discussion pretty quickly. Okay. But let's ask a few questions here. All right. So last year for the national championship game, we did a live stream during the game. Okay. Do you guys want to do, or would you guys want me to do another Monday night live stream for the game? Okay. Now, if you type Y for yes, Carvis, you better go. If I can meet Carvis and Max on the same trip, and Nathan, I really do appreciate this. Part of the reason why I love you so much, Nathan, is that I just love the dogs, right? I just love the dogs. We're such a dog-friendly channel on here. That's why we do the bug bands. That's why we do it. But would you guys want another national championship live stream? Okay. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Okay. I'll do a first half one. I don't know if I could do a full game one. And just be honest. I want you guys to be honest. All right. We'll be doing some type of meetup for the Florida State game, right? Yes. So you guys, I need to know, because if I do it for the algorithm, I don't want to live stream where there's, 2 people in here hanging out. All right. Jason renewed his season tickets. Okay, so Nathan's going to be there. Okay, so here's what we'll do. For Monday night, we'll do a first half like we did last year. We'll do a first half hangout for Georgia and Alabama. Okay? So that's really cool. I'll do that just for you guys. Only if Bama is losing. And it'll be very laid back. I'll answer Brian Kelly questions like we normally do. Okay, so here's the more important thing, because this week we are revealing what the new merch looks like. Here's the second thing. How many of you want to do a PHL meetup this summer, right? I kind of want to do one this summer somewhere, and then later on, like for the Florida State game, we all meet up in New Orleans. Super chat. Huh? I'm always down for super chat, saying. Chillmonger's like, I'm just ready for Vegas. Let me see this right here. Dang, Jason, y'all had great seats. I hated the game sucked so bad. That's good. Jason, that's great, man. I think that was your son's first game. That's really cool stuff. I love it, man. I love me some Jason Morgan. I just do. Member of the Booger Band Club. We'll do a NOLA party. So y'all go ahead and plan on it. We'll do a New Orleans party. The night before the game. I think the game is on a Sunday, right? Oh, you're going to the Lady Tiger? Oh, cool. You're going to LSU Auburn for the women's. It's really cool stuff. I love the avatar change, Mark. Really cool stuff. Kind of surprised Joe's not playing tomorrow. If BK goes to get a QB out of the transfer portal, not just one QB will transfer, guarantee. Cool. Let's see here. Chillmonger, your poll results are going to get 2 out of every 3 people that have voted here have disagreed with you. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate you. Nathan is our top super chatter of the evening. So me, Max, and Carvis are for sure going to be there in New Orleans. Haley will be there too. You get to meet the gorgeous Haley. So there we go. All right, let me get back on track here. This is actually pretty true. John Rice Plumlee would be a good fit at Liberty. That is so true, Mark. DRC is with Chillmonger here, guys, that he's skeptical about a Miles Brennan 8-win season. Because you see, the poll question has 2 layers, okay? Number one, the first layer is, can Miles Brennan stay healthy for an entire season? The second layer is, can he stay healthy and win you 8 games, right? And that's the thing. A lot of people, Doc, 65% of our poll believes Miles Brennan's going to stay healthy for an entire season. So, once again, my very limited but well-sourced sports medicine people in my life will tell you this, that injuries are random. They're very random. However, injury history does matter as well. And Miles Brennan has been more banged up from what I've learned, even before these past 2 seasons. He's had some other injuries. One that I'm pretty sure of in 2018. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. So sometimes it comes down to how well you could take a hit. Many thought the world was flat. There's a reason why Etling and Burrow started 3 seasons over Miles. Coaches knew he was not built for SEC play. Okay? Remember this. All right? And I know, I just know this from some of the information that I get from you guys. So there are some younger people that are watching live streams with their parents, dads and moms. This could be the best life lesson that I've learned is your best ability will always be availability. Okay. That's just life, right? There's so many people that are less talented that get jobs just because so-and-so knows that you are going to show up, okay? Showing up matters, okay? Just period. Showing up matters. Showing up on time matters a lot. For a lot of you, showing up on time is just as important as just showing up. But the most important thing you can do in your life is show up, whether that is professional, whether that is personal. Show the F up and be ready. Okay. And in football, health heavily affects your ability to show up. All right. There's no other way around it. Your best ability is availability. It always has been. It always will be. Okay. Now, there are some things. Sometimes addition by subtraction is a good thing. Sometimes so-and-so going somewhere else is a good thing for both parties involved. Okay. But if you are a part of a team, if you are a part of a workforce, your best ability is availability. And I think the worst type of availability is the people that you think will show up but don't, right? That's the thing. You know, that was part of the problem with, take another player, Derek Stingley, was he was always questionable. Like you didn't know for sure he was going to be fully healthy and ready to go, right? Sometimes it's better just for a player to just get hurt and just be out for the rest of the year. So, you know, with Miles, you don't know the answer to that question, okay? With Joe Burrow, it's going to take a 400-pound lineman folding over his knee, which would have torn 25 out of 25 ACLs and MCLs in that same exact spot. It takes an act of true brute force to knock Joe Burrow out. That's all there is to it. Show the F up. Now, here's the thing. If you don't show up, fine. But at least give people a heads up. But that's the thing about football, especially if you're a quarterback, where if you do get hurt, it puts everybody in a bind. So, yeah, Brennan has been very unlucky, which is true. All right, let's not take away this simple truth. Injuries are unlucky. Injuries are very unlucky. Not everyone who flip-flops get caught in a fishing dock breaks their elbow. Not everyone. So every single injury that has ever happened outside of you pulling a Johnny Knoxville stunt or a Bam Margera stunt or whichever Evel Knievel stunt, those injuries, even if they do suffer those, are unlucky. So every injury that has ever existed in the course of time has featured some unluckiness. So I agree with that, Brandon. However, did he have to go fishing? And I know what a lot of you would say. Well, fishing, is a safe activity. People rarely break their bones going fishing. Do you want Miles Brennan to not go fishing? I want to do what you want. But don't you feel that there were some people in the locker room that said, really? A fishing trip when you've waited your entire life and you're getting your second chance to be the starter of this team? A fishing trip? Really? This close to the season? I don't know. I don't go fishing. Are there a lot of injuries that happen when you go fishing? I don't know. So every injury that's ever happened features unluckiness. The bottom line, though, is if you're the quarterback of the team, okay, it's rare when non-quarterbacks has such a heavy pendulum swing on your roster. Obviously, like a Kayshon Boutte or a Tyrann Mathieu, obviously, they're obviously very influential players, but quarterbacks just change everything. There's a certain responsibility to keeping yourself out of harm's way, right? Now, it wasn't a fishing trip. Whatever the reason was, I don't know, right? So I've always included the asterisk. Was it a fishing trip? Was it not? I don't know. Miles Brennan himself has never been asked about what happened. Now, his dad said that it was a freak accident or whatever it was. Nathan's been on one tonight. Got hooked in the head once when fishing with my dad. So I've gotten the few times I've gone fishing, I'm like, God, there's so much that can go wrong. But still, Nathan, that's crazy. I got to know more about this. Chill Margaret, thank you. We caught Limit on Specs that day he got injured. Specs was hitting hard that day, though. I remember. Hey, Deculus 150 next season to carry Crocs. So I'm a big Croc guy. Wear some Crocs. I hate flip-flops. I think, especially men, flip-flops, no. You're not 12 anymore. Chaco sandals, rock the Chacos. But flip-flops, really? I thought boat shows. I thought boat shoes were Sperry's, closed toe shoes. We don't need these owl talons out. We don't need our nasty nails and hairball on our toe joints out into the world. Okay, we don't need that anyway. Why are you wearing flip flops anyway? Some of them crawfish boots. So we got a croc gang here. Okay. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Do you own Crocs? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Caucus is wearing them right now. I freaking love the Croc gang. I normally wear Crocs. Tonight though, Haley's lovely parents hooked me up with some Liverpool slippers. So I'm rocking these tonight. So I have to wear Crocs because Z bites my feet all the time because she's a horrible dog. Kidding. Brandon says he's never been hooked. Reggie says never. Chris, where have you been? Brandon, yeah, I knew DRC was crocking. I knew Doc Knock was crocking because y'all are two of the realest, man. Them Rufino, them lemon pepper steppers. Oh man, shout out AYS, my guy. Huh? The Ellis is a croc. Don't be fooled by the Crocs that I got. Let's go. Brian's not a crocker. Hey, Caucus, I appreciate it. Go Liverpool. Go Reds. Watch a good soccer game this morning. Dortmund with the comeback. Erling Haaland. Are there any Erling Haaland fans in here? He didn't even score. He did not even score. But yeah, I do want to show once again, I'm dedicating this live stream to a few people. I love learning about the behind the scenes workers. Today, shout out to Kiva, a lawyer with LSU football. Today was her last day. For those that are just joining us, Kiva, I don't know her last name. I just learned about this today on Twitter. She was a lawyer, but she worked with LSU football. The lady who secured the much talked about crawfish for the Joe Burrow dinner, she was the one that picked up the 15 pounds from Sammy's plus corn and potatoes. I did not know. I knew the story. I did not know it was Kiva KS_ESQ. So shout out to you, Kiva. You're a big part of LSU football history. And I hate it. I hate that she lost her job today. You should have a forever job coming through in the clutch like that. So Kiva, if you want to jump on LSU, if you want to jump on PHL, if anyone knows Kiva, I don't know her last name. I just learned about this on Twitter today. And I was like, you know what? I'm glad. I love learning the behind the scenes. So I know she was let go today. I know a lot of other recruiting people at LSU. Olivia Olsha, I don't know if I'm saying her last name correctly. A lot of really talented people got let go today. Once again, you know, this happens when a new coaching staff comes in, but that's such a cool part of LSU history. For Florida State, $232. Dang, George. If you got an extra one, let me know. And well, I don't have enough super chats now to go with you. But yeah. Erling Haaland. Haaland is a beast. Oh yeah, Chris making cups. Good to see you, man. Jill Monger, I would love to have Kiva on here. I'll shoot her a DM. I would love to know the full story about what exactly happened. I think it's probably out there somewhere, but I didn't know that. I didn't know who actually was the one who went and fetched the Joe Burrow crawfish. Socks or no socks with your Crocs? I go sockless. But sometimes I'll sock with my Croc. I don't think BK likes Louisiana people. He's firing them all. I don't think it has anything to do with that. Obviously, he hired Frank Wilson. We haven't talked a whole lot about Cortez Hankton. I just think he wants to bring in his own people. That's just it's just normal. Let me see. This is her Twitter handle, right? This is her one. Let me see. I need to follow her. That's her Twitter handle right there. That is such a cool story. She will forever get to tell her grandkids that story. That is awesome. I just think that's so freaking cool. I would love to know the full story. How did it happen? Did Ed Orgeron call you? How did you end up being the crawfish fetcher? Thank you, Don. Thank you so much, Don, for your super chat. So Don is the top super chatter, and he wants a Jamar Chase card. There you go, Don. Shoot me an email, powerhourlsu@gmail.com, and Don, will get you your Jamar Chase card and your Booger Bands. Oh, Ellis, you are not human. You wear socks with your Crocs outside in the snow. Now that is some beast stuff right there, Ellis. You look kind of rugged too. I like that, man. I like that. Ellis, if you look at Ellis, you're like, okay, Ellis is tough. You just look tough here. So there you go. Socks in the Crocs when there's still snow outside. Holland needs to come to PSG. Where would he play on PSG? Caucus, you can't hoard everything. Really? You have Messi, you have Kylian Mbappe, and you're trying to say, oh, we need Erling Haaland too. Really? Really? Mm. Boot up! Jared, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Ellis says, not out long, just enough to. Oh, man. Jared. Caucus? That's what's wrong about the beautiful game. Erling Haaland at Liverpool? Are you kidding me? So Jared was actually at the basketball game today, and he's not from Baton Rouge. How long was your commute today, Jared? And to make it worse, ASAP Justice is in here. He was at our PHL meetup earlier this year. Jared sent me a photo from where we met up for the PHL meetup. Why weren't you there the day of the meetup? I know ASAP Justice is in here somewhere. My man Reese. Caucus, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Jared, how was the game? How was the basketball atmosphere? I know it was fantastic. Let's see. Switch up the poll question here. All right. Three-hour drive, so you're already back home. That's good, man. Or I think you're back home. I always smile when Jared's avatar shows up. Love that STTDB. I can't wait for Southern and LSU's ban. Second game of the season. I think they will join forces and play neck. I do. You want to know what's funny? What am I sipping on tonight? So I am sipping on. I hate seltzers. Okay. But this Scarlet Letter blue seltzer, it's a limited release. Blueberry, white peach, tamarind, and lemon. I don't even know what tamarind is. Lazio. 122 years. Now, Yusha is a true soccer fan because he's not like me or Caucus that supports a front runner like Liverpool and PSG. Yusha actually likes a club that's not really that great. Thank you for the super chat, Yusha. I appreciate you. Where is my Lazio scarf? It's somewhere around here. I think it's, I don't know, Yusha. I should put on my Giorgio t-shirt. And by the way, Yusha did send me a custom Italy jersey with the famous number 9 on the back, which is pretty cool. Everyone welcome in Yusha from the Ukraine. I love it, man. LSU baseball class. Yeah, the Robbie Snelling thing is interesting. Ethan Fry. I would really like to see Robbie Snelling. If he was a 4-star linebacker, I would really like to see him play football as well. 3 hours? So, Jared, are you already back home? I don't think you'd be back home by then. Yeah, boot up, baby. Now, Lazio, 122 years. I followed PSG because it's Latin. This Latin is great. We were terrible back then. Good question here from Will. How severe is Quincy Wiggins' injury? I don't know, Will. So initial reports, Quincy tweeted this out via Sam Spiegelman that everything looks okay. So yeah, we'll see. I hope it's okay. Once again, you never really know with these things. It was a freak accident. Apparently he was on a scooter and got hit by a car. Now, what really sucks about it is this is a situation where, number one, a young man that could play right away, obviously physically, Quincy Wiggins is ready to play right now. He's one of the most physically imposing. That dude looks like an SEC recruit we've ever gotten. So number one, it sucks because he is a year one contributor. But here's what really sucks about it, okay? We need him to contribute, right? We are thin on all 3 levels of the defense. And Quincy Wiggins can play any of the defensive line positions, right? He's not a zero nose, but he can give you some snaps there, especially in pass rushing situations. He's a freak of nature. So once again, I don't know the severity, but we'll see. All right, Mick. I hate that you're going through this right now, man, but stay strong, okay? Chill Margaret, thank you again for another super chat. Once again, our live stream tonight dedicated to Mick as he fights the Rona. 122 years. Be back in a few. Good question here. Do you think we'll go after Ricky Collins, quarterback from Woodlawn next class? Arch more than likely not coming to LSU, and Holstein is heading to Texas A&M. I'm in it, Chillmonger. I'm a Ricky Collins truther. Now, full disclosure, Ricky Collins does have quite a few supporters that do support my channel. So full disclosure, I like Ricky a lot. I always cheer for 3-star Louisiana guys. I also, Donald, just got your email. Thank you. Mo Funky, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. And Mo Funky, we follow each other on Twitter. Shoot me a DM with your address and your favorite LSU player of all time, and I'm going to hook you up, my friend. Thank you so much, Mo Funky, with the very generous super chat. Mo Funky, our top super chatter of the night. And Mo Funky, you and I talk about Louisiana 3-stars all the time. Okay. Oh, well, do you see this? Micah, I don't like watching videos like that because I just don't. Because I like Quincy Wiggins a lot. I can't put your comment on the screen though because you dropped the F-bomb. Will says I would take Ricky over Arch, to be honest. Okay, so let's go a little deeper here. Let's do another poll question here. Actually, no, that poll question is too easy. Let me do this one. I haven't really talked about this tonight. I don't know. Yeah, Micah, you're my god too. All right, so type R for Ricky, type A for Arch Manning. Who's a better 2023 quarterback? Type R for Ricky, type A for Arch Manning. Now, a lot of you don't watch recruiting footage because some of you think recruiting is silly. I know quite a few of you feel this way. Will actually is in New Orleans, and you actually have seen Arch play quite a few times. Proud to be the biggest Arch hater. R. Doc says Arch. Don, part of the Booker Band Club tonight. R. A. Matt, good to see you again, man. Okay. Interesting. This is my thing, Doc. How much does it affect your evaluation if Arch was like all in on going to LSU? So here's a weird thing about it, right? All right, so let's go through a few layers of this. Now, the first thing, Will, is that this actually does happen a lot. You would be shocked, okay? And I actually do this, and it blows me away. All right. So the first thing I'll say is high school statistics are weird. All right. So they're oftentimes unreliable. They're hard to access at the same time. But more often than not, if you're a top quarterback, Max Preps has your statistics. So the funny thing about it is shocking how many top 150 quarterbacks suck. They're not that great. Their high school numbers aren't that great at all. So this, what Will's referencing here, actually happens a lot, where top quarterbacks have bad games. I counted 3 4-star quarterbacks in this past cycle. Just me scrolling. I think I might still have it up here. Well, it's kind of shocking, like how many people I see that don't dominate in high school and they're elite recruits. Let me see. I don't want to bore you because there's a bunch of people you guys don't care about. But here's one right here. Davis Farrell is a high-level 3-star, 4-star quarterback going to Virginia Tech. And his final game was 7 of 7 for 69 yards in a 24-8 loss. Okay. That is, I believe, a 4-star quarterback going to Virginia Tech. It is shocking. So it blows my mind, Will, how many times people just don't pan out. Micah. Okay, so I'll make this our next poll question. I think most of you believe Cortez is going to be the guy. Okay? It's true. All right. Okay. Okay. So everyone answer that poll question for Micah. Who do you think will be the better wide receiver at the end of their career between Jamar Chase and Jefferson, and why? Who's better now? I would obviously say Justin's better now because, you have 2 years of elite production, and it's not good production. We're talking elite production. Kirk Cousins is a very good quarterback, but he's not Joe Burrow, right? So Justin Jefferson is doing this with a new quarterback who quite simply isn't as good as Joe Burrow. All right. So that's the first thing. The second thing is obviously, Justin Jefferson is going to be the more meticulous route runner of the two, and Jamar is the more physically dominant wide receiver of the two. But I think it's hard in this instance to go against Jamar Chase for a few reasons. Number one, Jamar Chase, his average touchdown length this year, average, has been 36.7. That's the average length of his touchdowns, okay? He has 8 touchdowns of 30 yards or more, which is ridiculous, okay? So Joe Burrow this year leads the NFL in touchdowns of 30 yards or more, okay? So he has 15. Only one of those has been to T. Higgins, and 8 of those have been to Jamar Chase. So a lot of that had to do with Jamar Chase's ability to run after the catch, and half of those are due to Joe Burrow's ridiculous accuracy. Jamar Chase had the best single season year of any LSU wide receiver of all time. Justin Jefferson's probably number 2 in that same year. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to say who's better, who's going to have the better career. Up to this point, obviously, Justin Jefferson's been the bigger surprise. I will also say this about Ja'Marr Chase. I do believe he was the highest rated wide receiver prospect since Julio Jones. It's ridiculous, like how much the fantasy community and like these dynasty guys were like, Ja'Marr Chase is the best wide receiver prospect we've ever seen. Best breakout age, best metrics, best hands, all those things. And here's the thing, Ja'Marr still has a little bit of drop issues now, and that's not just the preseason. So Ja'Marr does have some things to get cleaned up, but because Ja'Marr has the better quarterback with Joe, and Joe will be his quarterback for the rest of his career, it's got to be Ja'Marr Chase. I think it's got to be Ja'Marr Chase. So, yeah, but Justin Jefferson, I would say, though, what's interesting, actually, no, it doesn't have to be Ja'Marr Chase, right? Because even though Kirk Cousins is very good, imagine if Justin Jefferson, went to the Packers or wherever. He's ridiculous. He's absolutely ridiculous. So I don't know. Obviously, Jefferson's been the bigger shock. I don't think anyone thought he was going to be a top 5 receiver in the NFL. So I'm going to go with Chase slightly, but that's tough. Let's see. All right. I'm getting a few. Chillmonger says Jamar's better. Jamari's got the better QB. Jefferson at Kansas City. I don't think Kirk Cousins is a bum, though. I think Kirk Cousins is a top 15 quarterback in the NFL, right? Rejoice them both. I agree with that, Don. It's crazy, though. Like, even with how great they were at LSU, it's crazy to think how good they are now. Better dancer, Jefferson? No, Thielen's not the number 1 guy, but welcome to the channel, Nebraska Green. Thielen's still really good, though. I'll give him that. No, Jets is their number 1. Tony! So I actually said this a few weeks ago, Tony. I do think after Jefferson, of course, Jefferson is not going to go to Cincinnati once his rookie contract is up in Minnesota. They're going to give him the Michael Thomas 5-year, $100 million deal to stay in Minnesota, which is, the max. And Jefferson's going to sign that contract. So here's what I think is going to happen. If you were to say, Carter, you have to bet your channel on Chase, Burrow, and Jefferson getting back together at some point, I would bet the channel. I think that they are going to find a way to play with each other again. Now, for that to work, obviously, it would have to be 7 or 8 years down the road, right? Because Jefferson's not going to take a pay cut for his next contract, nor should he. What I think is going to happen is 7 years down the road, when we all have iPhone 17s, Jefferson is going to sign a lower contract to play with Ja'Marr and Joe again. He played a slot, T. Higgins and Ja'Marr play on the outside. So there you go. Yeah, but I don't know if I'd make that trade though, right? Don't forget Clyde. Yeah, I could see that happening. Odell and Landry tried that. True. And Odell got the heck out of Dodge. And as bad as Odell has looked in Cleveland, as bad as it looked that Baker Mayfield was way better with Odell out of the lineup than with him in it, let's be honest. Let's be really honest here. Baker Mayfield was the issue. Who you really should feel sorry for is Jarvis Landry, because he had to play with Ryan Tannehill, Miami Dolphins, which obviously isn't the best Tannehill, and he's had to play with Baker Mayfield. Okay? Give Jarvis an actual quarterback. Baker actually does suck, right? He does suck. He's not good. And Odell's not obviously what he was, but he was right. Odell was right. And, you know, the thing that sucks about it is that it kind of sends the wrong message, right? On this channel, we always talk about super dads. Okay. We always want you guys to be super dads. I think Jason's still in here. I want all the super dads, Carvis, to listen up. Okay. What is the one thing you always tell parents to do at youth sporting events? Don't get too involved. Let the coach coach. Okay. Don't go bashing your little league's coach. My son should play more. My son should bat 3-hole. My son should be the quarterback. But the lesson that we learned about the Cleveland Browns is that, yes, you as a dad should complain, because Odell's dad putting out, it's a funny story, putting out those clips of Baker Mayfield missing his son wide open is what got Odell on a Super Bowl contending team with the Rams. And if the Rams win the Super Bowl, that is the ultimate dad move if I've ever seen one. Okay? So sometimes it pays off being a travel ball dad. Now, I wouldn't post YouTube clips of your little league quarterback throwing picks because you want your son to be the quarterback. But I agree with this. Don't interfere with the coaches unless you're Odell Beckham Jr.'s dad and the quarterback is Baker Mayfield. Are the Saints going hard after Russell Wilson after the season? Look at the super dad here. What's up, Brett? Anything is realistic, even though the Saints cap situation is pure heck. I think they're like 70 gazillion million under the cap. They'll make it work. They'll make it work. Give the Saints Derek Carr, Wilson, or Rodgers, and they win a chip. 100%. I agree with that. I don't know about Derek Carr, even though I will say, I actually invested in some Derek Carr cards this all season, and I sold them all because he's had a really good year. He was a one quarterback that so the key in like sports card flipping is you want to find like a non-hyped quarterback or a non-hyped player. So the two players I bought preseason, I didn't spend a lot. This was my first year doing it. I actually hit on two of the three. Okay. So I bought some Dwayne Haskins. We'll see if that pays off this next year. If he's a guy in Pittsburgh, I think he's done. I don't think Haskins is that good, but his cards are so cheap. But the two other players I bought were Derek Carr. And I swear to you, now I didn't expect this to happen. I bought Cooper Kupp cards. I bought a lot of them, and not a whole lot. It was like 3 or 4, and I flipped them because I thought he was going to be a beast with Matthew Stafford. Now, did I think he was going to, touch Michael Thomas's records? No, I did not think Cooper Kupp was like Justin Jefferson good, but he's a beast. I've always thought he was special. I didn't think like top 5 of the league special. I never thought I would say Cooper Kupp is the clear-cut best wide receiver in the NFL this year, and he has been. Adams and Jefferson are close second and third. And you could put either or in any order, but Cooper Kupp, goodness gracious, that kid can freaking ball. So I'm happy Odell's getting to play in a good offense. Oh, Titus. So you want to know the most flamed tweet I've ever gotten in my life was last year, or actually it was 2 years ago. I suggested that the Saints call the Bengals and offer their entire team for Joe Burrow. I said, give 2 first-round picks, Alvin Kamara, Taysom Hill, Michael Thomas, give them everything for Joe Burrow. And obviously the Bengals would have said no, but they were the Bengals, right? So a lot of people are like, there's no way Cincy would say yes to that. Are you smoking whatever? But here's the thing. NFL teams are run by some of the worst idiots on the planet. The Giants don't have 53 people on the roster for Sunday. How do you not have 53 people on the roster? I know we can't really say anything as LSU players, but professionals. Some of the GMs in the NFL are just so god awful. Dave Gettleman is the worst. But still, what's up, Tony? Let's go. Derek Carr can play. Is he a top 5 quarterback in the league? No. Is he a top 10 quarterback in the league? No. But that doesn't mean he can't play. He's top 5 in passing yards. The Bengals, if I were the Saints, I would have made the call. I would have said, look, Derek Carr's not even top 50? You got to put some respect on Derek Carr's name. Some respect. Ricky Jefferson? Wait, what? I'm always down for a Ricky Jefferson chat. Come back as a coach? I just can't believe the Derek Carr slander. I did not expect this. This channel will not accept Derek Carr slander. I just love that this comment is just out of nowhere from Will. Give me 4 Dogecoin Chargers. I'm kidding. I know you meant Dodge Chargers. But Dogecoin to the moon? I accept Bitcoin, by the way, on my Coinbase app. All right. Jared got me on this Coinbase, Bitcoin, NFTs. I will take an ape NFT as payment. This is an Ethereum friendly channel. Give me 4 Dodge Chargers, 45 Caniac combos, and Livy Dunn, and I'll get the number 1 recruiting class ever. Now, let's break this down. Okay. Dodge Chargers. Actually, Dodge is a fine brand of vehicle. I don't have a car, so I would gladly take a Charger. But why? What is the? Can someone explain this to me? What is the attraction to Chargers? Right, especially with the Alabama players. Every Alabama player drives a Charger. What is this? What is this? So, wouldn't instead of 4 Dodge Chargers, you would just rather like one Mercedes or one RAV4? I miss my RAV4. BMW 3 Series. And then you say 45 Caniac combos. Okay, Will. Here's a problem with the Caniac combos. Okay, so the first thing is you did not, with your Caniac combo. This is one of my favorite comics of all time. I got to screenshot this. This is crazy. Huh? So the first thing is did you sub for these 45, these theoretical 45 Caniac combos? Would these Caniac combos come with an extra toast instead of slaw? That's the first thing. Okay. I cannot accept a human being that doesn't do the toast, no slaw when they order. Now, I just get a box combo because I am not an animal. Okay. I'm not. If you're over 6'2", you can't see in a Charger. Okay. So the Caniac combo thing. All right. The Caniac is what? That's 5 tenders. Or is that 6 tenders? I think that's 6 tenders. So the 40-act Caniac, why would you? I'm 6'3". I need the extra tender. So the 45 Caniac combos. So do you want these Caniac combos all at once? Because if you get them all at once, that chicken is good for maybe a day. Find me the freak of nature that reheats canes like 3 days after the fact. Okay. And Livy Dunn. Okay, so the first thing is everyone. For those that remember, there was that photo of Joe Burrow and Livy Dunn that went like viral, and everybody thought that was like a thing. Like our sacred son of LSU is hanging out with, the biggest NIL star at LSU, which is Livy Dunn. So she got like million of followers on TikTok and Instagram. Now I'm in my 30s now, so I'm guessing Livy Dunn is like the thing, right? I'm guessing she is the most sought after heartthrob of the LSU community. And you'll get the number 1 recruiting class ever. Livy Dunn wouldn't get you to LSU? Dude, there is a deal. I tend to avoid all food with the word slaw in them. So there you go. Crazy. Livy Dunn ain't bringing Harold Perkins here. So here's Livy Dunn. So she's I don't know how good of a gymnast she is. I will say LSU gymnastics meets are very underrated. I used to cover a bunch of them. Ashley Claire Kearney fans in here. So there we go. There's Joe Burrow and Livy Dunn. I don't have any news on Xavier Pinson's injury. So there you go. Joey B and Livy Dunn, they're not an item. I think Joe Burrow, I don't know what Joe Burrow's relationship status is. I don't care either, really. I hope he's in mad love. But there's Livy Dunn to the right, the number one NIL athlete at LSU. So there you go. She's a gymnast. I started a generational divide in the comments with Livy Dunn. Right? So, Will, you're younger. You're currently, I believe you're still in school, right? So, Doc Knott grew up in the Megan Fox, Halle Berry heartthrob era. Ira Banks heartthrob era. Heidi Klum. Or for my real old heads out there, Angelina Jolie. You're a senior at HC. I don't know where HC is. Howard College? HC, what is? I don't know. She's gotten millions in NIL deals. Holy Cross. Cool stuff. I'm guessing that's in New Orleans. I know there's like a lot of Holy Crosses out there. Race hot is hot no matter what generation. I have the Sarah Edwards NFT, the first ever NFT for investment purposes. Investment purposes? Oh, man. Sure, Doc. Sure. Everybody tuning in for LSU chat for the first time ever, new to the channel, they're like, they're probably wondering, what the heck is all this? Dorothy Dandridge. I don't even know who Dorothy Dandridge is, but anybody named Dorothy is probably not Will's generation, right? We just said goodbye to our last Betty. Betty White, R.I.P. I love it. So I want to show you guys two images here. Okay. Doc, please stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing yourself here. I was at a Dillard's in New Orleans. I could have hollered at her, but I was too worried trying on some Cole Haan's loafers, and I couldn't get out of them in time to go get that number. Really? Really? I put that on my kids. So I want to show you guys this right here. That's our Z baby right there. She's knocked out, so Z won't be making an appearance. I do not want to wake Z back up because she is crazy right now. But I want you guys to look closely. You see Z baby knocked out on the couch. Look at her collar. She's got a new LSU collar. Also wanted to show you guys this. Did you know that LeBron James' son is rocking LSU gear? Let's go. Let's go. Oh, man, we got some frat wars going on here. Typical Sigma. I love it. Bronny James. Will Bronny James go to LSU? It appears it'll just be a knee sprain for Xavier Pinson. Good stuff. That sure gives me hope. So Caucus is actually, I think he played college basketball. How cool would that be? LeBron's son coming to LSU. That'd be crazy. Crazy. So Caucus played college hoops. That would be wild. LeBron's son at LSU. That would be a movement. But also, I think about that. Bron and Shaq on the sidelines. How wild would that be? Alvin Kamara, too? He was at the girls' game earlier. It's really cool. Bron and Shaq on the sidelines. I wouldn't want to pay for those tickets. True. So here, okay. This is the thing about LeBron's son coming to LSU. Number one, LeBron James' son is going to be like the most sought after athlete outside of Charlie Woods ever, right? He's already have like a gazillion followers on Instagram. I don't know if our program's big enough, like brand wise. Like it's crazy because if you go to Duke or if you go to North Carolina, that's just, you're there with other 4- and 5-star recruits. So, for those that were around during the Ben Simmons era, the Ben Simmons era was a lot of that as well, where Ben Simmons was like filming his own documentary during the time. I don't know. I don't know if that would be that great. And then number two, the tickets would be insane, right? You'd have people flying in from all around the world going to those games. Doc still living the glory days. I don't know who she was, but she was beautiful. We were at the same clothes rack. I spoke and started talking to her. She was cool. I didn't know who she was until we got back in the car. So you and Stacy Dash were in the same section for clothes. Why would y'all be looking for the same exact type of clothes? That doesn't make any sense. This story is made up. Was she looking at the 2 for $20 sweater rack? Was she also trying on some Cole Haan shoes? I don't think Stacy Dash is shopping for Brooks Brothers 3 for $1 white tees. That is not true. Spent $180 on the game tonight, worth every penny. Oh, to go to the LSU game? LSU tickets are expensive right now. That's a good thing. That means we're good. Doc will let you believe your story. But anyway, what's up, Big Mac? Good to see you. So let's get back into some LSU football stuff. We went from Caniacs to LSU stuff, just hanging out on a glorious evening. that was Stacy High. Oh my God. You know what we need? We need Van Lathan in here, right? So Van actually would know where an A-list celebrity was shopping, right? He's good. Van lives in LA. He hears these celebrity stories all the time, right? Because Van is actually around other celebrities often. We need to get him on this BS meter because he would know, especially being from South Louisiana. So if there was one time I wish Van Lathan was on this stream, he would be the first to know if this was actually a true story. So, Doc, next time Van is in the chat room, bring the story back up because I would want Van to see it, because Van always hears this all the time. He's probably like, yeah, I saw so and so the other day. Dang, I should have bet the over in this Cowboys-Eagles game. Dear Lord. Dak is playing well again. 5 TDs tonight? Dak? Really? Do your thing, Dak. What a day. All right, guys. Well, we'll keep this party moving. We always do this around 2 hours. I'll hang out for the next 5 minutes. I'll answer as many LSU football-related questions as I possibly can. Will, I think you asked something a minute ago about would I rather Caleb Williams or Walker Howard or something like that. Come on, you would take Caleb Williams. Every single one of you would. Even though I really do think Walker is special. Does Nuss challenge Miles for the starting spot? No. That's okay. You guys want to know why I was so passionate about Nuss playing in this game, okay? In the bowl game. Even though, the game sucked, Kansas State beat us down. Honestly, it would have been tough to beat Kansas State because their quarterback, sometimes when the opposing team's quarterback is playing so daggum good, it doesn't matter. We would not have, the game result would have been the game result. Their quarterback played his best game. It would have taken us having an elite quarterback. And Nuss would not have played as well as a 25-year-old quarterback, which Thompson was. Nuss will not challenge for the starter's job, and if he was serious about starting for that number one spot, he would have played the bowl game. I cannot say it enough, right? The way you gather belief from a coaching staff and from a locker room is, oh, Mark. Look at that avatar. You not only changed your avatar, you also got your 3 booger bands. That's so cool. Look at that. I got to get some out anyway. Because Mo Funky, our top super chatter tonight. That's so cool. How did you do that? That's good. That's what Mark did. I can't even do it. Let's go, Boog. That is good. That's so good, Mark. I appreciate that. Just stacked them. They look great, man. Thank you so much. I mean, my night. So, I go through periods where I get really sad about Booger, and tonight me and Haley had one of those. So that really makes me feel great. Six Nuss family pulls a Tanya Harden. Yeah, so obviously I think Miles is going to be the starter. I just think the one way you can gather belief in a locker room is when you actually play. Once again, Nuss is going to get the red shirt. He was going to get the red shirt this next season regardless if you're not the starter, right? So yeah, I would have just played. But, when Nuss actually played, he wasn't really that great. He did make some really extremely high upside types of throws, in particular, the Ole Miss game. The Arkansas game, you begin to think that Wildcat play just really threw him off rhythm because he was diming Arkansas's defense in. But still, the new norm is going to be 2 QBs going into the season, 1 starter, 1 incumbent, maybe 1 more developed, but mostly 2 QBs per team. I could see that. It's a good question. I think they do. They understood that he was going to play somewhere where he's for sure going to play. So, yeah. If Caleb Williams comes, Nuss and Brennan would hit the portal so fast we would be down to 2 QBs again. And that is a risk you would take, right? You absolutely take that risk. But once again, Caleb Williams is going to USC. It would be very shocking. This is a good question. Yeah, Joe Monger, that was kind of strange. How much of the QB blame do you put on Max, Nuss, or Pete's? Well, obviously, most of it is on Miles, right, for not staying healthy. So, once again, freak accident. But I know this is going to sound like me piling on Orgeron again, but so much of this is actually on Orgeron, okay? And I'll tell you why. The first thing is there's so much more pressure on a quarterback to perform when your defense is as bad as it's been, okay? So Carvis is still in here. It's complimentary football, right? So it's kind of a double-edged sword, but it does at the same time make sense. If your defense was slightly better, there's not as much pressure on your quarterback. If your quarterback was better, though, you can win games despite your defense not being great. Look at Joe Burrow in the Texas game. So, still, so much of that falls on your head coach. And I know Ed Orgeron's not the offensive coordinator, but for sure, Nick Saban's offenses have never struggled despite all these different offensive coordinators. You lose Brian Daboll, who's been one of the best OCs in the NFL over the past 3 years, no problem. You lose Steve Sarkisian, no problem. You get Bill O'Brien. Their offense was bad at times this year, but still, they're still in the playoff. So even if your coach is defensive minded, a lot of that goes on your head coach. Also, Ed Orgeron doing the third down thing with DJ Mangus was a disservice to DJ Mangus and Jake Peets. Okay? So for those that don't know, if it was a third down run, Jake Peets would call it. If it was a third down pass, DJ Mangus would call it, according to the ESPN broadcast booth, which is a really strange thing to do. Okay? Now, with all of that said, Jake Peets wasn't great. He called some really historically awful bad plays. The Wildcat call was one of them. The UCLA screen to Cole Taylor was another one. The fourth down play versus Ole Miss when we were winning 7-0 was one of the worst play calls I've ever seen. A 2-man route roll out to the left where only one of the routes was actually in the end zone on a 4th and goal play. It was just not, it was the worst thing I think I've ever seen. So yeah, a lot of that's on Jake. But it also, doesn't help when your quarterbacks have limited ceilings. Max Johnson had a limited ceiling in high school. His stats reflect that. He had a limited ceiling in college. Now, I thought Max Johnson was going to be better going into this season. But we did a ton of film studies going into this year that showed Max Johnson's issues. And instead of those issues getting better, they got drastically worse. So, Nuss, you don't really have an opinion of a true freshman quarterback. So, yeah, I would put a good chunk of it on both. I would say 65% Pete's, 45%. No, actually, no, I would flip that. I would put 5% on Max and the other on Pete's. Poots. Jake called a decent bowl game. I still think he could have got a little more vertical. So, yeah, I'm down for some Montrell Johnson. Jalen J transfer from Clemson. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if TJ's it either. I just don't. I just think, even if you go look at their high school stats, TJ and Max were not good in high school. I was really blown away by how bad their stats were. So let's see. Pete's did not call any screens to running backs to get teams to stop blitzing so much. This actually isn't true. He called running back screens, and they were there. There was one versus Florida that would have been a 50-yard gain, 50 yards. Marlon Martinez missed a block. Then he called another really good one versus Alabama. Ed Ingram missed a block. He called running back screens. We just could not run them. I don't know why we couldn't block them, but he tried. I will defend Jake Peetz on that. Could he have done it more? Yes, we just could not block running back screens. And that was kind of the case the year before when Jake wasn't here. So, I'll defend Jake a little bit on that. Could he have called more? Potentially, yes. So maybe, Alan, maybe. True. But when they spread it out, his final year, his third year as a starter, he was average, right? So, you are right about that. He wasn't in the best system for him to develop as a quarterback. But, once again, he was always a year 3 guy, and he's had to play a lot in year 1 and year 2. So maybe him and Max take a step forward next year we don't know about. No, that's not going to happen. 2023 class won't be. It's going to be really hard to crack top 5 for 2023. A lot of Louisiana talent, but still, it's going to be really hard. Hey, Paris. I would agree with this, though. Definitely the better arm. With Emery back, we should hopefully have a more balanced offense. True, I do think we'll have a little more balance. It was good to see our running game eventually going. Good to see you again, Paris. Apparently Duke played tonight. That's why Paris is getting in here late. No, Roger. In fact, we lost Cade York today. Jalen Lay is a tight end. I know a lot of you really want Danny Lewis to be a part of the class. Chillmonger at the Super Chat, so we're going to hang out for a little bit longer. Knowing that BK would only retain one coach from this team, would you have picked Brad Davis or someone else you let go? Okay. Really good question here. Yes, I'm a big Brad Davis fan. I just am. I was really impressed with what he did this year. I still think LSU should have I didn't like LSU's playing at center this year. It it didn't make a lot of sense that we never had a backup playing at center because there was a period of time where Liam was really playing really bad, and the fact that we just could not find somebody else to play that position is inexcusable. So that would be a major criticism that I would have. Uh, but I'll say this: Ed Ingram got better as the season went on. When he played at home, he was phenomenal. When he was on the road, he was bad. Uh, Jason Hines was fine this year. I will say the biggest improvement was from Austin Deculus. He was fantastic this year for us. And then obviously, the injuries and all that. So I think Brad's a good guy to have around. I think he got a lot of respect from the locker room, leading the team the way that he did during this weird bowl week. So, yes, if there was one coach, I probably would have retained Brad. Now, there are coaches who have done more for LSU that weren't retained. Uh, you know, Corey Raymond, as far as his actual coaching ability, I would have liked to have kept Corey Raymond around. He was going to leave. There are so many things about Corey that I think he was fed up with. Number one, obviously the associate head coach thing played a role. So when Corey Raymond and Frank Wilson were both on staff at LSU, Frank was already making double what Corey Raymond was making. So Corey Raymond, who took a pay cut these past couple of years because of the pandemic, he then sees the same guy that made more money than him come in and take the job that he apparently wanted and get $900K a year when you were making $550 a year and you were the best DBI coach in the country. Corey Raymond was just fed up at LSU. And once again, he's got a case to be. So yeah, Corey's probably, just based on resume and what he did at LSU. And he was, just looking at resume, he was fantastic as a defensive back coach. But I do, I'm not just saying that because this happened. I do agree it was time to move on unless you were going to give him a larger title or more responsibility. So I do think it was better for both parties to move on. And I also think Corey Raymond's going to be very successful at Florida because he's recruited a lot of really good players from Florida. Let's see. Blake Baker, obviously phenomenal. He was the best defensive position coach just based on what he was able to do this past year with their linebacker play. But if you hire a defensive coordinator who coaches linebackers, you can't have him and Blake Baker still be on the same staff. You could, but it's kind of weird. So Blake saw the writing on the wall. Andre Carter or Jamar Cain, just based on resume, Jamar Cain's better. Still sucks. Andre did a really good job with this unit this past year, and I wish Andre nothing but the best. Obviously, he cared a lot about these young men, and Andre's going to get hired at another big school. Obviously, if you hire a new DC, he's going to not be the DC anymore. So out the door went Durante Jones. Now, offensively, I don't think any of you are going to cry with no more Pete's and no more Mangus. Wide receiver coach Mickey Joseph, obviously he gets Trey Palmer to commit to him today, so good luck to Trey. We'll never play Nebraska, so you don't have to worry about that. I think it was kind of the same thing with Mickey, right? I think it was Mickey's wife who did an interview with Lon Phillips at LSU Odyssey, and she said that Brian Kelly just never contacted Mickey, and Mickey's going to his alma mater. He gets to coach at his alma mater. So I would have picked Brad Davis. And I'm not just saying that because it happened. I was saying that when Brian Kelly was hired. I didn't know that he was not going to retain only Brad Davis. Now, you bring up Kev Falk. It sucks, right? It sucks. Kev Falk, he's in our backdrop. Our Sports Illustrated magazine's right back there. Okay? Kev Falk is one of my favorite LSU players of all time. Okay? And honestly, he deserves as much credit as any LSU player pre-90s or pre-2000s. He is the reason why LSU football became a thing, right? So, it sucks. But everything that he went through, the tragedy that he went through, this was his first year being a position coach, right? So at Karen Crow, he was the offensive coordinator for like 4 or 5 years. He was really good at it. And he leaves there to go be an LSU off-field assistant. And he works his way up to take over the running back room. And there were some bumps and bruises along the way, right? Him coaching the running back room. Now, he killed it in recruiting, getting Kiner and Goodwin. And he had the tragedy this year. So you wish you would have had more years to develop as a coach. But Frank Wilson is the best running back coach LSU has ever had at the university. So, it's kind of hard, to go up against that, right? When Frank was the absolute best. So, it just comes along with it. Let's see. Didn't we offer Falk another position, not coaching now? Yeah, I think Kev will stay on in some capacity. But I hate it. I will say this. Every single assistant coach on this staff, position coach, had a case to stay. Every single one of them. There was not a coach on the staff that I was like, okay, we got to let this guy go. Every single one of them. But it goes back to the very first thing we talked about. If Ed Orgeron's still the coach, there is a higher likelihood that Cordell Flott comes back, that Cade York comes back. But when there's transition, a lot of people that are on the fence about staying at LSU or seeking another opportunity seeks that other opportunity. Okay? That's all there is to it. And when your head coach gets fired, a lot of people unfairly lose their jobs, and it affects their livelihoods and affects their families. And that's the sad thing about it, right? That's why there's all this responsibility that comes with being the head coach. So, it's just the industry. Every coach will tell you this industry stinks. And that there's 100 coaches that would kill for your opportunity to be a quality control coach and make $12,000 a year and sleep on a couch. There are plenty of people that would kill for that opportunity. Kill. That's how it works. Yeah. I think Flock comes back if Raymond is still there and if O's still there. Durante's going to be nice. I think he will too. I think he learned a lot. Durante. I wish him the best. So there we go. Once again, thanks, Chillmonger, for the super chat. Let's see. OG, good to see you. I think I saw DeMarcus Cousins in here. What's up, man? Huh? We get Denver Harris or Corey stays. I would really have liked that. All right, guys. We'll do another 5-minute warning here. We'll sign off in just a second. But if you keep super chatting, we'll stay here all night. I'll answer as many questions as you want. We'll keep this party moving. You just got to put another quarter in the jukebox. So I hope Kev Falk gets to stay. I really do. I just hate it that he didn't get his opportunity to really grow and develop as the RB coach. Carvis, we'll see you. Yeah, exactly, Pegasus. Still crazy to think Saban lost to ULM year one. I remember that. Was that LSU when that happened? All right, guys. We will see you again. Monday, we'll do a first half. Paris at the super chat. Monday, we'll do a first half national championship live stream. Why not? I'm going to wait to the spring to truly judge Brian Kelly. There you go. JoJo's in the portal? Why? Wait. Why would he go in the portal before the national championship game? I don't know if I'd want him because he dropped a punt. Psych. Huh? Nathan sent me his photos from the bowl game. That's funny. Slaw is a power food for us over 70, guys. Come on, Paris. You know the answer to that. JoJo is not in the portal. All right, guys. We'll see you Monday night. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom. Shout out to our top super chatter tonight, Mo Funky, now a member of the Booger Band Club. All our super chatters tonight. Don is also a member of the Booger Band Club. Chillmonger always bringing the heat, baby. Will bringing the heat. Nathan bringing the heat. And his photo from Tiger City. And as always, Jared. There you go, Nathan. Yes. Got the photo, man. On his Twitter profile, he says, Nicholls State University alum, I love dogs. There you go. Happy birthday, Jack. And hey, we're doing some Oreos right now. Let's go.